Welcome to Sattva Project, Open Heart, Open Mind. Today we are having a very, very special guest, Shri Niraj Kumar. Shri Niraj Kumar is a prolific writer. His first book on Pan-Asian was published in the year 2002. He has, to his credit, more than a half of a dozen books. He was written and spoken on Hindu Tantras. He is associated with Society for Asian Integration. He started working on Kalacakra Tantra for last few years, and his first volume, running into 685 pages, has recently been published. There are 4 more volumes in the pipeline. He hails from Magadha and recently based in New Delhi. Most welcome, Shri Niraj Kumar. Thank you so much.
You very much. Thank you very much for inviting for this dialogue on Sattva.
Thank you very much for accepting our interview and for giving us our time, your kind time to tell us about a bit more about your book. We are very curious to know more about Kalacakra Tantra. And I will suggest first you talk a bit about yourself, your work, what have you done till now, how this idea start. Please let us know a bit more directly from who is Shri Niraj Kumar.
Thank you very much, Sonia ji. Basically, I was born in Magad, and you know Magad is a place where Sakyamuni Buddha got his enlightenment. And I was born at 11:25 hours on 22nd April. I just had my birthday 3 days back. This number 11:25 itself has a very great significance in the Kalacakra Tantra. It is said that 11:25 is a numeric value of the Kalacakra deity himself. Moreover, I was born during the afternoon, and it is said to be the Kalacakra time. The mid to 48 minutes between sunrise and sunset is the Kalacakra time. And I was exactly born during that duration. So I don't know what is my connection that I was led towards Kalacakra Tantra. I spent my childhood in places where once upon a time, Tantric worship flourished under the Pala Empire during 8th to 12th century. And my fascination with Buddha goes back to my childhood days only. I think it was the year 1992, and I was accompanying a college trip to Rajgir. While students were singing and enjoying, I sat in the Santi Stupa built by Fuji Guru of Japanese Nichiren sect. While meditating, I wished to feel the presence of Sakyamuni Buddha. But soon there were clouds and the lightning followed. I was amazed because I wanted to witness the peaceful, form of Buddha. And I was scared by those lightnings, but lightnings revealed to me the deepest secrets of powerful nature. I could not fathom how lightning could have any connect with the energy field of Buddha. But only now I realize that lightning is the Vajra, and what I witnessed was basically the Vajra Kshetra of Buddha. I started studying a lot of philosophy, also Buddhist philosophy. And in fact, I started reading several suttas in Pali language after that experience. But then it took me several years, rather decades, of studying different disciplines, including Kashmir Saivism, Hindu Shakti Tantra, Vedanta, further neuroscience. I was also a medical student. I studied for 2 years. Then higher physics, I was interested into quantum physics, general theory of relativity, and the mathematical sections. Then I studied astronomy. So innumerable subjects I studied for almost 2 decades. And I think without studying those things, I could not have deciphered such a grand text. Finally, in the year 1998, I joined Government of India as a civil servant. And earlier I was studying in military school in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And my wife hails from the eastern corner of the Himalayas, that is Manipur. In a way, The two edges of the Himalayas are involved in my life's journey, Kashmir and Manipur.
Yeah.
While Taranath, you know that Tibet's great historian of Buddhism and someone who was a great worshipper of Ma Tara, and he also wrote his history about Kalacakra. So Taranath, in his history of Buddhism, he claims that Kalacakra was introduced by Pitopa from Kashmir, and it became popular in the Koki land. Koki land is the land east of Bengal and Manipur, Tripura. So by the hands of destiny, my life has been pendulating between these two edges of the Himalaya, between Kashmir and Manipur. So between Kashmir Valley and the Koki land. I must disclose that my childhood was further, it was spent in Nepal. So Himalaya, Buddha, yoga, tantra, all these things always charmed me.
Very good. And 2 points very interesting, like you have deep connection, auspicious connection with Kalacakra Tantra due your birthday. It's extremely auspicious, very, very nice coincidences. So I was really amazed when I read this, and when you are mentioning now that you somehow were connected with your birthday. So it's really amazing. So and also this connection with Manipur and your wife and all of this is really amazing. I deeply rejoice to hear this. This is so wonderful. Very well. So how did you get involved with the Kalacakra Tantra, Shri Niraj Kumar? How did you get involved with Kalacakra Tantra?
It was not something which was planned. So in the year 2014, when I was finishing my book on Himalayan bridge, so at that time I came to know a bit about this Kalacakra Tantra philosophy, and I could get a copy of the Sanskrit text edited by Lokesh Chandraji. He's a great Buddhist scholar, and that book was edited by he and his father, Professor Raghuveer. Thereafter, I wanted to find another manuscript of the Kalacakra Tantra. So once I was in the book fair, World Book Fair at New Delhi, and I found Asiatic Society publication of the Kalacakra Tantra. So this was a manuscript which was edited and collated with other Tibetan versions by Vishwanath Banerjee. Banerjee also later became president of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata.
Yeah.
For me, this was a wonderful book because as soon as I touched the book, I felt that now I'm at home. So I don't know what was that attraction. But then I started working on the Kalacakra Tantra, I think from 2015. And Banerjee's edited manuscript has become my 24/7 companion. Even while I sleep, even nowadays, I keep the copy on my bedside. And Banerjee, he depended on the manuscript which it kept with the Cambridge University Library. This manuscript was obtained by one British dental surgeon, Dr. Denier Wright, from Nepal in the year 1875. It is a palm leaf manuscript, and this was copied in the year 1447 AD, again in Magadha, by one Jairam Datta, and he was instructed by a Buddhist monk from Bengal to copy the manuscript. Subsequently, I also got the 3 volumes of the Vimal Prabha commentary composed by Kalki Pundarik. And these 3 volumes have been published by Sarnath Institute, that Central Institute of Higher Buddhist Studies. And as we know that Pundarik is treated as the second Kalki king in the list provided in the Vimal Prabha commentary. Yeah. So all these 3 volumes are of immense help. But apart from the written literature, I think there have been unseen Shaktis, Yoginis, Dakinis, whose blessings have kept me motivated to carry on with this monumental task. I'm attending to my family life. I have 2 daughters, and I also go to 9 to 6 office work. And still I could carry on with this work. So I think this is not possible without the blessings of the unseen forces.
That's interesting, especially because we are talking about Kalacakra Tantra, and it has so much esoteric aspects that are related with the channels, everything, but this is for another volumes. We will maintain in the first volume, because this is just the first interview of a few, like 5 each one for each volume. Is that okay for you? Do you accept the challenge? Then this is wonderful, because I can't wait to have all your volumes in my hands and feel delighted to read honestly this amazing book. By the way, we can tell our the people that is listening to us that they can find your book in Amazon India, right? And they can order directly from Amazon India the first volume of Kalacakra Tantra by Shri Niraj Kumar, because they will be curious along with our conversation here. So tell me something, how much time did you take in completing these work challenges, if any?
It has taken almost full 6 years in studying and then completing the writing. And interestingly, the Kalacakra Tantra talks about six-folded yoga, sadhana yoga, and they see the reality into a 6x6 template. So again, it took 6 years for me to finish this task. I started sometime in January 2016, and but I could finish the first volume way back on September 23, 2017. And thereafter, it took me 1 year to just get it typed and edit it. By 2019, I finished the long introduction. It is a 225-page long introduction. Second volume I started in October 2019. And during the pandemic period, I utilized the time and I finished writing all other 3 volumes. Finally, the project was completed on 3rd April 21. And this was a very tiring journey, but challenging also. The text is very, very cryptic. It's not simple. And moreover, I had not studied Sanskrit earlier. I did not have access to any monk or a scholar for guidance over the Tantra. Plus the astronomy section, that consumed a lot of time because it is very technical and complicated, and I had to go through the ancient Indian astronomical works from Aryabhatta, Varaha-Mihir to so many. So it was a tough challenge, particularly first volume and the 5th volume.
Oh, means how can a person that works all day, 9 till 6, has a family, has 2 daughters, have to go home and also help in the works with the daughters, in the studies of the daughters, and help the wife, as time to write 5 volumes so complicated like this without having any access to, for example, a guidance of a monk, teacher, as you said, and well, because this is so elaborated text that usually only high schoolers do commentaries on this kind of works. How was this possible? This seems like a blessing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I say it is not my creation. It is all the blessings, and maybe the text itself wanted to be revealed at this time. So I was just a medium and it came.
Wonderful. And one other thing I pay attention when you're saying is that you didn't have deep roots in Sanskrit before. And in this, you had to go deeper in Sanskrit. And means that you went directly to the original source, the Sanskrit text. I think this is extremely important.
Because I work from the Sanskrit text only, so I'll explain how my work is different from others' work.
Yeah. Yes, that's very important. That was precisely the question I was going to pick. Looks like you read my mind. I was going to ask you, Niraj, because this is really amazing. And you know, I'm a fan of your books. You know, I'm a fan of your work since the first day I heard that you are going to write a commentary on Kalacakra Tantra. I was really deeply touched, and I felt so happy that somebody will pick the original Sanskrit text and pick some aspects, like, as you said and mentioned, so difficult, like the astronomy and everything so technical, and go deep into the Sanskrit original text. So I felt very happy, and I congratulate you from my heart for this amazing work.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Really,
very much
really,
for
really.
all the support.
For me, it was always a blast to be able to be following your step-by-step 5-volume. It's
Yes.
amazing. And for this, I have this special question. I mean, this is the question I think many people will also feel curious about, is how is your work different from works of other scholars on Kalacakra Tantra? Like, for example, John Newman, Vesna Wallace, Jasmine Anderson. How is your work different from these scholars' work that happened before?
I would say John Newman is a pioneer during 20th century on the Kalacakra Tantra. He did his PhD and he translated a part of the first chapter of the Kalacakra Tantra. But the fact is he translated only first 27 slokas and little the Kalki section. These two are easier part. The major part starts from the sloka 28th verse. And these are very much mathematical and very difficult to decipher because every mathematical calculation or number, these are coded. And the, if a word stands for a number, next time it stands for another thing. So you never know is it a number or a concept. But Newman did not touch that thing, saying that these are easier section to be avoided. The section, then there is a long section on Swarodaya in the first volume. What is Swarodaya? Swar is vowel, Uday is arising. So it is basically science of predicting based on arising of vowels. And these vowels are linked to our breath cycle. So this is a very, very complex and new thing because there are other kind of Swarodaya sciences at present in India, like Shiv Swarodaya, but those are very simple compared to the complex chakra system. Then Vesna Wallace had done some, she had done the translation of the second and fourth chapter, but I have found several instances of faulty translation, particularly in the second volume or second chapter. So numbers are not clear. Maybe it's a bit confusing. Moreover, she had not clarified anything from her side. It is just plain translation from the like text and the Vimal Prabha commentary.
Means sorry to interrupt. Means you were saying that Vesna Wallace's work is just basically a translation yes. Of the Kalacakra Tantra.
Tantra, the slokas and the Vimal Prabha commentary by Pundrik. So she had translated both. Yeah. And as I told you, the first chapter and fifth chapter are a bit difficult. Second, third, and fourth are not that much difficult. But if we don't offer the explanation, new explanation, it is difficult to understand Vimal Prabha commentary, and why I will explain later. My work is quite different as I have undertaken the Sanskrit text for translation, and all these slokas are reproduced in Sanskrit. Then I have translated into English. I have separated each and every word of the text and offered their meaning. So this had taken a lot of time. Then my own commentary there. I have utilized the Vimal Prabha commentary, but I'm not fully dependent on this alone. It's very, very confusing at many places. The Vimal Prabha also had not commented on almost 24% of the verses. So exactly it is 23.66%. But if you come to the fifth chapter, and fifth chapter is the climax in the Kalacakra Tantra. There are only 5 chapters. It is the chapter on Jnana, Gyan Patal. Vimal Prabha had not commented about 43% of the slokas. So in a way, Vimal Prabha itself is incomplete. So I am trying to fill up that gap, because I have taken each sloka for my commentary, and I've used a lot of graphics, tables,
yes,
almost all modern tools of explanation to make it easier and interesting for young readers also.
Yes, this is something I would like to point out, because this is a very important point, especially in our contemporary society, because I guess you try to adapt, to do the commentary of this work, but do it in a simple language, accessible language, so the future generations can read this
Yes.
book and
Yes.
feel identified with the book, and
Yes.
feel they have a tool where they can understand a lot of concepts that are most of the times philosophical, but not adaptable
Yes.
to the real life,
Mm.
reality.
Yes.
Am I correct, or please
Yes,
correct
yes,
me?
exactly. That is what my intention is, to make it accessible. Even say young student of class 10, he can read
Ah,
and he can enjoy. So that is my goal. I don't want to make it so complex and philosophical that only a limited reader is there to argue about the deliberations.
yes, means that you are a visionary, because you were already thinking in comments classic text directly from Sanskrit and pass it to the new generations. This is
Yes.
highly visionary. I really
Yes.
must congratulate you. It
Thank you.
means that you also are an entrepreneur. This is really amazing. Wonderful work, Sri Niraj. Really wonderful work. Let me pass next questions, because I think also is very important for people to understand the inner essence of your work with this writing. So kindly share about the structure of your project, if you don't mind. Kindly share with us.
Yes. So, see, in Kalacakra, the term Kalacakra, what is Kalacakra? So, Naropa explains in Sekodesh Tika,
Mm.
K is for Kram is sequence, La is for Lay is dissolution, Cha is for Chalchitra, means images. So, and therefore the Kalacakra basically it starts from, no, uh, Ka is for Kara region, and the last Kra is for Kram. So in Kalacakra, sequence is very, very important.
Yes.
And what I found that across the 5 chapters in the text, though they have been talking about, three different worlds. One is the physical universe, external world, Lok Dhatu. Then the inner world, Adhyatma, what we call Day in the
Okay.
Tantra.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the third world of the symbolic universe. I have termed the symbolic universe, Apara, other. So that has the linguistics, the mantra, mudra, and mandala, everything with all kind of images. So these will be part of the symbolic universe. So
Mm-hmm.
they have put a, a similar structure in all 3 dimensions. That is 4 is to 6 is to 10 is to 8 is to 8. So what is this? So this pattern, this is how entities emerge. Okay, so there are 4 female Dhyani Buddha, that is Tathagat, then 6
Mm-hmm.
female Bodhisattvas, 10
Mm-hmm.
female wrathful deities or Krodha Devi, 8 yoginis, and 8 symmetry goddesses, that is Pachandi Devi.
Mm.
So what I have done, I have also divided the 5 volumes into same pattern. First volume has 4 chapters, second volume has 6 chapters, third volume
Yes.
has 10, fourth has 8, and fifth is 8. So now this resonates the vision of the composer of Kalacakra. It
Yeah.
is not unlike Vimal Prabha commentary.
Yeah. Very good. So this was the way you structured your work, right? Your
Yes.
texts. Tell me something. You mentioned that about many female aspects.
Yes.
Can you please talk a bit about the female aspect of the Kalacakra Tantra?
Kalacakra Tantra is basically a mother tantra that I have established in my long introduction.
Mm.
So even beyond Kalacakra is the Vidsumata.
Yes.
To understand more about that, so I will request audience to kindly buy my copy and then enjoy the introduction.
Yes. Very good. but means that you're saying that the pattern of 4, 6, 10, 8, 8 resonates the whole sequence
Yes.
pattern of the Kalacakra Tantra. Is this?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Very good. Wonderful. Means the first volume, 4 chapters. Means
4
the
chapters.
second volume, 6 chapters.
Yes.
Then the third, 10 chapters. Then fourth, 8.
Yes.
And fifth, 8.
8 chapters. Yes.
Thank you. Very well. And what are significant findings in your first volume? Since we are talking about your first volume and it's edited now, please tell us what are the significant findings in this first volume, Sri Niraj Kumar.
In the first volume, in long introduction, I have established Naropa as the author of the Kalacakra Tantra. You see, though people say that Kalacakra Tantra was, this was spoken by Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha himself at Dharma, but in the text we have got mention of Islam, then there is mention of Baghdad. Now, Baghdad was founded only during later 8th century. So naturally, the text could not have been composed before 8th century. So, people who claim that it was revealed by Sakyamuni Buddha sometimes in 9th century BC, because many people predate Buddha's birth also by citing Kalachakra details. So I think they are misguided. So this was composed by Naropa, and it was composed during first half of 11th century. In the book, I clarified from what time he started writing and by what time it was composed. And even Vimal Prabha commentary, I have fixed how Pundik was related to Naropa. He was a disciple. All the transmission lineage of the Kalachakra Tantra that emanates from Naropa only. Second important thing is, I found that 806 AD, this is the epoch year in the Kalachakra Tantra for planetary computation. So how did this 806 come? What is the significance of this year 806? So I could locate that this was the disappearance year of Guru Padmasambhav. And thus I have brought back into focus the role of two greatest Vajrayana scholars from Nalanda premises into the narrative of Vajrayana that dominates the Himalayan space. It is to note that Naropa and Padmasambhav both do not find mention in the famous Tipton list of 17 Nalanda Pandit. But Kalachakra composed by Naropa, fixing an epoch period, which is the year of disappearance of Guru Padmasambhav. So, second thing what I have done, I have established that originally Oddiana was not in Swat, Pakistan, but it was in Kashmir Valley. And I have used the solar eclipse catalog of NASA and the Chinese writings of Fahian to establish those facts. And Padmasambhav, who is regarded as the second Buddha, was though born in the Oddian, but this Oddian was not the original Oddian which Fahian had visited. It was a translocated Oddian in Southeast Asia. So I have pinpointed the exact Oddian where Guru Padmasambhav was born. Thereafter, I have also in the first volume situated the location of Shambhala in Southeast Asia near Indian borders.
Yes.
So Shambhala, people have been talking a lot. It is in Mongolia. Some people claim, like Panchen Lama, 9th Panchen Lama started claiming that Shambhala is in Tibet because Tibet is in north of India. So it's not like that. And Helmut Hoffman, he started this confusion about Shambhala. Then De Coros, he also said in 1823 in one of his essays that Shambhala lies between 40 and 50 degree latitude. But the fact is based on the internal details of the astronomical details. So I fully established that Shambhala is not north of India. It is not within India, but it is in a tropical region, and I have pinpointed at what point. So it's in Myanmar, present day Myanmar. So that is an important finding to pinpoint some Odiyan
Yes.
and Shambhala. Then the first volume has 4 sections, as you noted it. The first section is about the outer geography, what we say Chakraval, then linguistics, and second section is on method of planetary computation, which I just addressed that John Newman avoided that section. Third section is on Swarvodaya astrology and machines. And the machine section is also quite rich. The last section is on Kalki, and this Kalki is a bit different from the Hindu Kalki. So Kalacakra Kalki, if we say, it is in a way antithesis of the concept of Hindu Kalki. But this Kalacakra Kalki, he prophesied to bring Hindu Buddhists on a common platform and wage war against barbarians from Makkah. So this section has interesting geography of 11th century Asia also. And then there is a list of Semitic prophets in this section, and then corresponding, counterbalancing avtaras in the Aryan system. In the first volume, I have added a very, very long appendix, and I have developed algorithm for calculations of planetary longitude, and that is not only verse by verse, but line by line algorithm I developed, and this is going to be very useful for even mathematicians world across.
Means really, I'm stunned with your words, and especially when you mention now about the deep effort and the deep information you have given with mathematics in this. It means that you went very deep to find the facts, to find the sources. It's not just based on a translation. It's something that you went deep, that you try to study by yourself, try to find the facts through mathematics, through astronomy, everything. This is quite amazing. And I was paying attention when you mentioned about the zenith point. For me, this is quite interesting. And you mentioned that the year, that was not mentioned, the year of Padmasambhava. And also that Kalacakra Tantra was written by Naropa.
Yes.
This is really very interesting. I mean, this is something that I'm sure many people will be very interested in, go deep and understand the facts. How could you arrange the facts to fundament this?
Yes.
This is really amazing. And then when you talk about Udiana, and you say this is not in Swat Valley in Pakistan, it's in another place. You did all the calculation through mathematics and astronomy.
Yes.
And then you find the right place.
Yes.
And that was not in Pakistan.
Not in Pakistan. Because Fahian is talking about a solar eclipse, and when I was checking from the catalog of solar eclipses, NASA's catalog of solar eclipses, so the belt of solar eclipse did not pass through Swat.
Yeah.
That particular eclipse.
That's really interesting. So I was deeply amazed. And Shambhala. Shambhala, also another thing that you deconstruct here.
Yes.
The idea of the Shambhala in Tibet. Very interesting. I think, I think our people will be really amazed and very interested in read your first volume of Kalacakra Tantra, and will be waiting for more and more and more for the other volumes. So this is quite a hand. So let's bring the second. Let's bring the second volume soon. Okay, I have another question for you, also related with the last one, because it's interconnected. So you put Naropa at the heart of the Kalacakra Tantra tradition. Is this true?
Yes.
Wow. So you put Naropa in the heart of the Kalacakra tradition. Naropa is not counted in the list of the 17 Nalanda masters by the popular Kalacakra master, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So how do you reconcile both, Shri Niraj Kumar?
See, Naropa is the composer of Kalacakra Tantra, there is no doubt about that. And Kalacakra Tantra in Tibet, you see, the texts were translated by Somnath, Gijo, and others. But the practice was introduced before the royalty by one Orgenpa in late 13th century, and later by the third Karmapa in the Mongol court. But after the collapse of the Mongol Empire, it was limited to very few Tibetan Buddhist sects like Budong, Jonangs, and Kagyu. In fact, even first Dalai Lama was initiated into Kalacakra Tantra by a Budong master. So Orgenpa himself was initiated in a Budong monastery. So during middle of the 15th century, there was, lot of excitement to compose commentaries on the Kalacakra Tantra. Then Jonang master Tolpo Pake, then Geluk scholars, they also came up with their own commentaries. But the Tantra could never become part of Geluk orthodoxy. In the Geluk tradition, to which His Holiness Dalai Lama ji and Panchen Lama ji belong, so they have got two tantric colleges for higher initiates and scholars, and Gyutu and Gyumet. And in both these colleges, Kalacakra Tantra is not part of syllabus. In fact, many of the Geluk masters, the disciples of first Dalai Lama, they themselves were very, very critical of the Kalacakra Tantra. And it never became part of the formal Geluk tradition. But I think this appropriation of Kalacakra Tantra, it started taking place when, during early 20th century, China used 9th Panchen Lama to organize Kalacakra ceremony at Forbidden City in Beijing. That was in October 1932. So then that got back into the Geluk tradition. But I think the list of 17 Nalanda Pandit, that requires modification. There cannot be any list without Guru Padma Sambhav, in Valia. And it's like talking about New Buddhism without Baba Sahib Ambedkar. So you cannot talk about list of Nalanda Pandit without Guru Padma Sambhav. So it would be nice if we build an appropriate list of 21 Nalanda Pandit. Maybe we can extend it to 24, 33, 36, 48 Pandit. These numbers have some, significance in Tantric soteriology. But 17, I don't know what is the significance. So how come this arbitrary list of 17 Nalanda Pandit was generated? That itself requires a lot of research. I think we need to, revise the list, and it should not be a list of Geluk tradition down retrospectively, but it should really reflect the Nalanda masters.
Yes. I was paying attention to this point. I think it's a very important point that you were mentioning about the numbers and its importance in esoteric Buddhism, and especially in Vajrayana tradition. And you were mentioning that numbers like 21, 24, 33, 36, 48 are very, very esoteric meaning, but 17, no esoteric meaning.
No esoteric meaning.
Where it comes from, where it's based, what facts, where you can fundament these facts. You could not find facts that could sustain this number.
Yes, it's totally arbitrary.
Totally arbitrary.
Yes,
I understand. And also you consider that the Nalanda tradition, or the Panditas and all, should be revised or rethink it, because it's impossible to have a Nalanda tradition without Guru Padma Sambhava.
Yes. Moreover, you see, Chandragomi was one of the most productive uh, master from Nalanda tradition. He was a grammarian, he was a great writer, and he was a Mahasiddha also. He was a great philosopher. But you see, he's not in the list. Chandrakirti could never defeat Chandragomi, and Chandrakirti himself paid so much respect to Chandragomi. But if we don't have Chandragomi in the list,
Yeah.
who lived in the Nalanda premise, if we don't have Naropa in the list, then that list is very, very, means it requires modifications.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. And now, because of this complexity, and because really I realized that you really need to study and have a lot of knowledge about esoteric Buddhism to understand the meaning of those numbers and go deep in the meaning of this structure of this text. This is very elaborated text. So I was thinking, like, what is the utility of such complex philosophy in our everyday lives, Sri Niraj Kumar?
So I have termed Kalacakra Tantra at the highest point of Nalanda tradition. In fact, I say it is a capsule to understand Nalanda tradition. But the thing is, what is the utility of this philosophy? So this philosophy is the first which came up with the concept of Hatha Yoga also. So the term has been used in the fourth chapter of the Tantra, and then the Vimal Prabha commentary explains the Hatha Yoga. And Hatha Yoga, all of us now yoga itself is part of international UN International Yoga Day has been adopted by all the countries. So Kalacakra is basically not only philosophy, it is also practice and fundamental yogic practices.
Yes.
Second thing is the Kalacakra Tantra, it guarantees liberation during this Kali Yuga. So the very first sloka says that this text is meant for liberation of mankind during the Kali Yuga. And I think by studying it, even a rational thinker, he would like to explore how the three worlds, like symbolic, inner world, biological world, and the physical world, can have similar kind of processes. So this is the ultimate search of mankind to find, universal algorithm.
Yes.
So Kalacakra Tantra was the first, I will say first, that kind of attempt to create a universal algorithm, and moreover to give a mathematical shape to that.
Yes. Very well. So this is the utility of this complex philosophy to apply in our everyday life. Yes. In your point of view.
Yes, because even by by understanding the insights with this Tantra teaches, so we will develop different perspective to look at the things in not only our life while studying also, because we can have a Nalanda perspective. What was Nalanda tradition? So this Kalacakra was the summation of Nalanda tradition. So there is not only a Western perspective to look at the things. There are different perspectives also, non-Western. So I think this would win the battle of other non-Western perspectives.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned here that this will provide practical yoga for everyday lives, and the fact that term Hatha Yoga was used for the first time in the Tantra, and so I was really surprised, like, wow, interesting. This is very interesting. Then tell us something about mysterious Shambhala. Has this been mentioned in the text?
Yes, this has been mentioned in the text, but only in the first chapter. That means the first volume which had just been published. So I have discussed on Shambhala. And what is Shambhala? So Shambhala, it is basically Shambho means peace, ultimate peace. And then if we read it other ways, Samjol Bhal is Shambhal, because there is no Shambhala, but it is some blood Bhal in the Tantra. Bhal is the forehead. and some is, balanced,
Balanced, yeah.
universal, or to be in equilibrium. That is some. So in a way, Shambhala is our forehead within our body, where we can maintain the balance, and which gives us joy. Second, in the Tantra, Shambhala is also a geographical place. As I discussed, it is in the Myanmar at that time. And apart from that, so Shambhala is in all three dimensions. Outer world, you have a geographical place. Inner world, I just said, it is in the forehead. And then there is the third Shambhala, and that is in the symbolic universe. That is the mandala. Kalacakra mandala itself is a Shambhala. So
Yes.
Shambhala is not something unique. And then one can generate Shambhala within mind also.
Within mind, yes.
So Shambhala is in a way utopian dream. It is a place where you have got peace, joy, and abundance also. There cannot be peace if you don't have prosperity. So this is what all of us dream. We should have a world where we have prosperity and peace and happiness. So in a way, Shambhala is the dream of mankind. So, and this dream, the Tantra spoke about, and I think that is a dream which we all can follow harmoniously.
Yes. So you claim that Shambhala is not towards North Pole, but near the tropics, right? So
Yes.
where exactly it is?
I've been pointed in the a long introduction. It is in the Arakan coast of Myanmar, and I think the whole, this stories about the Chanda kings, Dhan Katak, Shambhala, this will be clear if one go through my long introduction.
Wonderful. So means that there is a rich, very rich section in this book about this, right?
Yes.
This
it's
is
a
wonderful.
25-page long introduction.
Wow, 25-page long introduction.
225.
Wow.
Yes.
About this Shambhala explanation.
No, about Odiyana, Shambhala.
Odiyana, Shambhala,
and,
yes.
Thereby, who composed the Tantra, when was it composed, and how it is a mother Tantra. So these are the different concepts which I have dealt upon in the introduction.
Yeah. Very good. So do you plan to start courses on demystifying the Kalacakra Tantra and sharing its practical aspects, Niraj Kumar?
But we are exactly doing the same thing, trying to demystify several things. But I think my first aim is to complete get all the 5 volumes published. These have been completed and like in different stages of publication. And I don't know, but I wait for the guidance.
Yes.
If I should share more with wider audience.
Very nice. How does this Tantra fits in overall Buddhist philosophy?
See, this Tantra was composed in 11th century in India, and and this was the grandest text from the Nalanda premises. It summed up the Buddhist philosophy of previous 1500 years also. So I think this was the climax of the Indic Buddhism. And thereafter, even in other places, no such grand texts have been composed after 11th century. If you just see, these are smaller treatises, but no texts with, such a grand vision and details.
Yes, very well. Well, this is my last question to you. I should rather mention how this Tantra, in fact, inverts in the Buddhist formulation of sorrow as the substratum of reality to the natural joy. You mean Sahaj Sukha. Am I pronouncing correct?
Sahaj Sukha.
Yeah, as the substratum of reality. So do you have plans to visit the board to share the mysteries of Tantra to a receptive audience?
I think I do not have any, but my aim is to rescue this great Tantra from, monetization by half, I would say, term them half-baked peddlers of liberation. And the tantras were never taught in large groups. So generally it used to be like less than 25. And it was only during the early 20th century, I stated, it was the nationalist Chinese government which started using Kalacakra Tantra for geopolitical aim.
Yeah.
And it was the ninth Panchen Lama who started, uh, you just see now lakhs of people are attending the Kalachakra ceremony, and I think that is against the spirit of Tantra. So even I do not think like such ceremonies should be held, but it should be taught in a smaller groups. My plan is not for now. I don't know, because my first goal is to complete, get the 5 volumes published.
Yes, yes, I understand. And there's still a lot of work there waiting.
Yes, yes.
And you
yes.
also will dedicate even more of your precious time to this amazing work. So
Yes,
this is really very kind and generous of you to dedicate all this time and effort to put this commentary of Kalacakra Tantra outside for the future generations, and also to bring some awareness, to reflect in very important points, and maybe some changes, some adaptations to the originals of the back of the past text and the original text. In fact, we are mentioning the original Sanskrit text, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is quite important. So I would love to keep this conversation going on, but time is running. But I'm sure we are going to have another opportunities, because there are a lot of questions to do about this first chapter. There are many areas that can be profound, and we can go very deep on them. This is for the second part of this interview, if you accept the invitation.
Yes, sure.
And I just want to ask you, just if you kindly want to leave some few words to people that are listening to us, if you want to just give a few words or a small commentary on your first volume that I insist is selling. People can buy on Amazon India online. So if you want to just leave some words related to your first chapter of this amazing work, it will be an honor to hear these words from you, Shri Niraj Kumar.
I would just request people to buy and support this grand enterprise, because if the readers are not there, then there's no motivation to work further. So I request the audience to kindly go to the website of my publisher, DK Print World. DK Print World is one of the topmost publishers on Indology, and kindly get a copy on a discounted rate. It is also available on other platforms, and in about a week or 10 days, it should be available in bookshops also internationally. So my request is kindly buy it and at least go through the introduction section. So in a way, I'm not only discuss about Kalacakra Tantra, but also the relationships between different tantras, and the why it is important for future, not only future generation, but also it can become a template for future world religion. This is what I have been arguing, because this tantra has been an attempt, to find a universal algorithm. So suppose in future machines become conscious and they also require a transcendental philosophy, then we have a proto-template in the form of Kalacakra Tantra. So my foray into the past is not to be limited only in past, but I am also thinking it in terms of, say, 21st century, or late 21st century or early 22nd century, when there will be artificial general intelligence and they also require some kind of thing to reflect upon, then they will look at Kalacakra Tantra.
Yes, that is true. That is so true. Yeah. I'm very grateful for your time. I'm very grateful for your work, for all the energy you spent and give to this. I'm very honestly proud of this. I'm very grateful to be able to do this small interview to you. And I just do deep aspirations that the younger generations feel motivated to buy your book. And we will also put a link in the Sattva website in your page, so people can go directly to Amazon India to buy your beautiful, amazing Kalacakra Tantra first volume. Shri Niraj Kumar, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Sonia ji. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to explain about my work. And thank you to Sattva platform. And I would love to come again on this platform and share whatsoever I have learned in my life. Thank you very much.
You are always very welcome, and that will happen very soon. Trust me. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
And namaste.
Thank you.